Good. I was telling Shelly, I was going over my message with her a little bit, and she said, "Oh, that song from Mercy Me, Even If, would be so cool with this." And I'm like, it's too late to call her, so that's what we got. So it's just
He did
cool
not
how
call
that works out. If you got your Bible, or you want to just look up over my head or behind you, we're going to be reading from John 14:21. And it says, "He who has my commandments and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them." Show myself to them. Let's pray this morning. Dear Heavenly Father, we love you. We thank you so much for this time to gather as a body of Christ. And Lord, just help us to be the hands and feet for you. Lord, just help me to get out of your way this morning and just open our ears and our hearts to what you have to say this morning. All these things we ask in your name. Amen. When you think of a mystery, what do you think of? I'm getting ready to show my age drastically here, but when you think of a mystery, what do you think of? Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo, really? Yeah. I'm sorry, that was a lot of it. I had to do that. All right. No. Okay, I think Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. Anybody? Rear Window. Alfred Hitchcock, Rear Window. Vertigo. And man, I'm old. I just figured that out while I was writing all these down. I was thinking about my favorite mysteries, and there's 3 of them, and those are 3 that table right there has never heard of. But we were watching a movie in Sunday school a few weeks ago, and I think they finally, I know they finished it because I got a copy of the movie. So we were watching a movie, and in the movie, one of the actors made the statement. He said, "God works in mysterious ways. God works in mysterious ways." And I didn't see much more of the movie because that just hit me, and I started thinking about that. That's how my mind works, and that's how I preach. Something hits me, and I think about it for the rest of the day. But God works in mysterious ways. So I had to ask myself, is our God mysterious? Is our God mysterious? Now, we have an entire book written about Him. We've got a whole book with 66 little books inside of it about God. So, and every one of these books is doing their best to explain who God is and why we should want to know God. So, is our God mysterious? That's what I want to talk about today. That's what we're going to... this God moves in mysterious ways. In seminary, we call it a chimney scripture. That's what we call it. I don't know what any of y'all call it, but a chimney scripture is a scripture that you think's in the Bible. It's really not. Okay? Let me give you some examples real quick. God helps those who help themselves. Not in the Bible. It's cool, but it's not in the Bible. Okay? It's actually from one of Aesop's fables, Hercules and the Wagoneer. But it's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible, but 1 Peter 1:14 through 15 says, "As obedient children, do not be conformed to the lusts which are yours in ignorance. But like the Holy One who called you, be holy yourselves also in your behavior." How about cleanliness is next to godliness? It's not in there. My grandmother thought it was, but it's not in there. Okay? I think my grandmother thought she was quoting scripture every time she said that, but she's not. Now, there was a lot of cleaning rules for the Israelites, but I'm pretty sure Jesus was more worried about the sin in our hearts than He was the dirt on our hands. So that's not in there. Hate the sinner, love the sin. No?
You got that wrong.
Well, who wrote that? Hate the sin, love the sinner. How about that? That sounds good. I like it. Hate the sinner, love the sinner. Hate the sin, love the sinner. We could be up here a while just on this one. But it's not in the Bible. It's actually a quote from Gandhi. It's not that I don't agree with it, but it's just not, it's not in the Bible. And this too shall pass. That's not in there either. See, these are chimney scriptures. But Oh, wait a minute, one more. Money is the root of all evil. Now that's close. It's close, but it's not in the Bible. 1 Timothy 6:10 actually says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not that God doesn't want us to prosper. It's not that He doesn't want us to do well. It's just when we put money above everything else, then that's when it becomes the root of all evil. So, now I've gotten way off course here, but let's get back to God works in mysterious ways. This is not scripture. It's actually a poem by William Cowper. And it's actually the first line of a song, which I have no idea what it is, but but that's a poem that William Cowper wrote, that God works in mysterious ways. And we hear this a lot when we're trying to comfort people. When somebody's lost somebody or something's not going right, you hear it a lot. God works in mysterious ways. But is God a mystery? Is God a mystery? Guys, you know more about God than you know about me. Think about it. We've got a whole book about God. We know that He created Adam and Eve. We know that He sent His Son to die for us. You don't know what I had for breakfast. And I'm standing right up here. All right, we know about God. Okay? He's not as mysterious as we think He is. Last week we talked about not last week, the week before last. We had Bob Shackle for last week. He was awesome. But 2 weeks ago we talked about looking for God. We had people talk about where they had seen God that week. God doesn't want to be a mystery. He doesn't want to be a mystery. He wants us to find Him. He wants us to see Him. And if we don't see Him, it's because we're just not looking. We're just not paying attention. I think we used the word God conscious 2 weeks ago, and I like that a lot. When we're God conscious, we're seeing God, and we're feeling God, and we know He's around us. If we know God, and we know what He's done, where's the mystery? If we know it was Colonel Mustard in the library with a candlestick, where's the mystery in that? Okay, I'm not a history buff. I'll say that out loud. Went to go see Saving Private Ryan. My brother-in-law was right there. Halfway through the movie, I asked, what war is this? I'm not lying. I was in the Marine Corps, and I still said, what war is this? Okay? I am not a history buff. He's in the room now, so he'll shake his head yes, that I actually did that. But I'm not a history buff, but when I see God at work, I get excited. And so there's parts of history that we see God working, and if we're God conscious, we can see it. During the attack of Pearl Harbor, the Japanese attacked our naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. And the first wave came in and did so much damage. They sank ships. They killed thousands of people. And the admiral for the Japanese said that's enough. Mysteriously, he didn't send the second wave. Mysteriously. He doesn't send the second wave. If he sends the second wave, he destroys our Navy. Well, at least our Navy on that side of the world. And we're way behind in the war, but for some mysterious reason, he doesn't do it. He decides that's, okay, we're good. Well, 6 out of the ships that were sunken were raised up and were actually fought in World War II. Only the Arizona is still underwater. But 6 of them actually fought in the war. There's a movie coming out, getting ready to come out, called Dunkirk. I don't know if you might have seen some of that, but actually the Germans, this is before the United States got to the war, but the Allies, Canada, France, Great Britain, were all trapped. The Germans had them surrounded. And the British Prime Minister was getting ready to surrender. And instead of surrendering, he was getting ready to surrender, and all of a sudden the Germans stopped for 3 days. They stopped their attack. They stopped their movement. Well, that 3-day hiatus basically gave the Allies a chance to get 330,000 people out of Dunkirk. They were able to get them out of the harbor of Dunkirk, and it saved our Allies. It kept us in the war, and you know what happened after that. So here's the cool thing. Winston Churchill didn't call it a mystery. He called it divine intervention. So it wasn't mysterious to him. He knew it was God at work. Isaiah 55, 8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, So are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. We're not always going to understand God. But as children of God, we have to believe that He knows what He's doing. We have to trust. The closer we walk with God, the more we're God conscious, the less mysterious He becomes. Have you read or seen Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express? Has anybody seen that? Read it? Hey, I got one. There's one as old as I am back here. All right. It's a classic murder mystery where a guy gets killed on a train. Everybody on the train has a motive. So everybody on the train could have done it. So, now you don't find out until the very end who did it. And if you want to know, find me after this. But you don't find out who did it until the very end of the book or to the movie. But one person knew throughout the entire book. Agatha Christie. Well, you know why? She wrote the book, people. He wrote the book. He wrote the book. It's not a mystery to him. Okay? I read it. Okay? I know how it ends. Okay? It ends good for us, by the way. Okay? Our scripture this morning says if we obey His commandments, He will reveal Himself to us, and He has no intention of being a mystery. He has no intention of being a mystery. But sometimes we just don't understand. Sometimes we don't understand. Now, why we do some of the stupid things we do, now that's a mystery. I get that, all right? There was a guy at the mall last weekend. This guy was mysterious. Okay, he was mysterious because I didn't know him. All right, for one thing, I just didn't know him. But this guy was having a full-blown conversation that got argumentative with nobody. All right, we were in FYE, that little movie store at the mall. This guy was carrying on a full-blown conversation, and he got upset with whoever he was talking to, and it got angry, and it got loud, and there was not a soul there. That was mysterious, okay? It was mysterious because I didn't know him, okay? Now, my dad can carry on some great conversations with nobody, absolutely, with nobody. We can hear him in the kitchen it's like he's putting on a cooking show. I'm just going to take this right over here, put this over here. Where did I put that? And he's talking nonstop the whole time, and we're in the living room just laughing. But it's not mysterious, you know why? We know who Dad is, all right? We know it's Dad. We know what he does. The guy at the mall, no clue who that guy was, but that was mysterious. But I know my dad, all right? And I know that he's going to talk to himself. The more we know our Father in heaven, the less mysterious this gets. You see where I'm going with that? The more we know about Him, the more we understand. Now, it all goes back to trust. It all goes back to trust. You know, the children of Israel, they had a hard time with this trust thing. They had a very difficult time with this trust thing. God gets them out of slavery. He parts the sea for them. He puts up a pillar of fire for them, and yet they still can't trust. He rains manna from the heavens, and they still can't trust. It's a hard part for us, this whole trust issue. You know, why did we lose a 44-year-old friend last week? You know, why are there so many children up at St. Jude's right now? Why are people hurting? You know, we have to trust. God's got a bigger plan than ours. It's a much bigger plan than ours. He knows the plans He has for us, and we're not always going to understand them. And it's going to hurt, and we're going to ask why, and we're not always going to know why. And that's where it seems like it's the mystery. That's where He seems mysterious, but we have to trust. We have to know that He's got a bigger plan for us than we could even imagine. Guys, we weren't promised a long life. We weren't promised a wealthy life, even a healthy life. But we got one promise. We got one promise. We had a covenant. When Jesus died on the cross, there was a covenant with us that if we believe in that, we get to spend eternity without having to worry about pain, without having to worry about death, without any of that. That's the one thing that we can't look forward to. That's the great non-mystery of this world. If we believe in that, then there's no mystery to that. There's no pain, there's no more sorrow. and all we have to do is believe. It's not a mystery, but it's just trust. And sometimes it's just hard to trust. This morning I'm going to ask you to stand. We're going to play an altar call song. If you're having trouble trusting, the altar is always open. He loves you this morning.